We're going to do this 45-minute webinar between myself and David Wallace. I'm going to share what we've learned over the last 18 months as the markets move from what I call cloud hype to cloud first. So our goal today is to share and show best practice, help you prioritize your activities and give you an insight on how Cloudmore is helping service providers around the world transform their businesses. Let's do a quick introduction to Cloudmore for those who don't know us too well. So my name is Mark Adams. I'm the Chief Customer Officer. I've been involved in subscription IT now since 2003. My role at Cloudmore means that I'm responsible for nearly all front-end operations. Also on the call today, we have David Wallace, who's worked for Cloudmore for over 5 years, helping service providers make the transition to a recurring revenue business model. This webinar is being coordinated by Anna. Thank you very much, Anna, who will be gathering any questions you send along the way in the Q&A or the chat. So Cloudmore's been in the subscription management business for over 10 years. Back in 2007, we had a vision that the IT industry would be one of the pioneers to move to subscription IT and a subscription-based model. The signs were good. Microsoft had launched in 2003 their first public cloud subscription services, hosted Exchange, hosted SharePoint, hosted CRM. And that was what I was doing back then in 2003 in the UK. And Michael, the Cloudmore CEO, was doing the same job in the Nordics, and that's where we first started to understand what this business might look like, and actually when we met as well on one of the various events we did in Microsoft in Redmond. Also, some smaller vendors were starting to productize their services, but it was pretty low key at that point. If you search cloud computing in Google Trends, the buzz started around spring 2008. And then built up a good amount of momentum pretty quickly after that. But the whole cloud IT thing, I think anybody who's been in the business since that period knows that it's taken a while to come to fruition. The first iteration of the Cloudmore business was a value-added automated distribution of SaaS, PaaS, and security services. And in the early days, it was a real struggle to work with the vendors. The APIs were limited. Vendors were creating competing business models, sales plans were confused, and customers were concerned about not having hardware they could see, the whole kind of cloud fear thing that we seem to have moved on from now. The home market for Cloudmore was the Nordics, and they're known for being forward-thinking and being early adopters of technology. And it's because of this and through our innovative platform technologies and vendor partnerships, we broke down many of the barriers and steadily built a successful subscription IT business. And that's important because we've been through all the pain, we've been through all the learning over that period, and we've kind of built up a head of steam in terms of our knowledge of this space. What is Cloudmore? As I say, the platform originally was a value-added distribution platform. We integrated services. It's sort of developed and morphed into what it is today, and we describe it as a subscription management platform today. It's provided as a single code-based SaaS service from 2 data centers in Europe and the US. And in focus today, we have the use case of cloud brokerage enablement and those capabilities that exist within Cloudmore. And we've got a real strong legacy in this world with over 400 IT service providers who use the platform on a daily basis. And because of our long legacy in the space, many of these service providers are quite small. But since we relaunched the platform in preview mode in 2016 and live in 2017, we've seen much larger MSPs, service providers, and enterprises indeed come on the platform and start to use it for their end-to-end cloud brokerage, marketplace, and customer self-service requirements. Our approach is a little different to many of the other platform providers in the space. We definitely orientate ourselves around the user experience and not the technical experience. And we focus on enabling the commercial subscription model, not the technical one. You know, it doesn't exist on its own. There's lots of other service management, service orchestration, security, identity, federation platforms that are out there. And all of these platforms need ultimately to work together in one way, shape, or form. So Cloudmore is built on a set of extensible APIs and also the service connectors, which enable the platform to be connected with data centers. So it sits in the middle of all those other tools that might be used to manage the cloud environment. So I think we all experience the subscription economy on a day-to-day basis if you subscribe to any of the consumer services that are out there. But things are very different now than they were a few years ago. The subscription economy has grown by 200% annually since 2011. In the US, there's over 2,000 subscription businesses and 11 million subscribers. A lot of those in the consumer space. Successful subscription businesses have products and services that consumers use regularly, but they often add something extra. The key to a good subscription service is a good product, obviously, but also in offering flexibility through different payment terms and including options that are tailored to meet your customers' requirements and needs. The consumers of Netflix, Grey, Spotify, Dollar Shave Club, or any of the other well-known subscription businesses out there are also business buyers. And of course, they're liking the convenience and flexibility of renting, not owning IT. And that's why you're seeing such a growth in SaaS space, public cloud space at the moment. As cloud computing becomes more mainstream, the subscription model for IT is now unlocked, I think. And we now have what I would call a perfect storm of disruption and opportunity. So I talked about those larger service provider customers of Cloudmore. And what we see with them is they're actively trying to change their business model. They're adopting a cloud-first offering where they're pushing their new customers and existing customers towards public cloud because of customer demand, providing more SaaS services, and they're helping their customers in turn go through a digital transformation journey. The service provider also needs to go through that digital transformation journey. And as we've seen over the last 2 or 3 years, it's not an easy journey to take. There's usually a lot of unstructured customer contracts, unstructured products and service offers, and manual processes to manage. And David will drill down into this a little bit more. So the journey to the recurring subscription-based model affects the whole life cycle, from sales to provisioning and setup, renewals and billing. And bringing all this complexity into the subscription world is challenging enough without a good strategy and plan. And today, as we said, we'll try and give you some insight into what we've learned. So business engineering takes time and effort, and a managed transition to the world of recurring revenue and subscription IT is going to be tough, but it will deliver many benefits. More predictable revenue, improved cash flow, stickier customers. And if you look at valuations, compare traditional MSPs or IT companies and MSPs with a strong recurring revenue model, the difference in valuation is quite marked. So I've set the context. Let's get on with sharing our learning so far and how Cloudmore can help you smoothly transition from one state to the next. And I'm going to now hand over to David, who's going to talk through what he's learned and show you a little bit of how we make that real in the platform.
Thanks, Mark, and thanks to everybody who's taken the time to join us today. I see the subscription management challenge getting bigger and bigger as more services move from traditional licensing models to monthly, quarterly, and annual plans. Over about the next 20 minutes, I'm going to share my best practice for subscription and subscription billing, and briefly go into data sharing and advanced automation. I'll also cover self-service and how it will increase stickiness and revenue, and share some data points and key components. And I'll finish off with a quick overview of Cloudmore in action. Please use the chat facility as I go along and ask any questions. This is being monitored, and we'll pick these up in the Q&A at the end. In the last few years, I've had many conversations about the best way to create and set up subscriptions in Cloudmore. Two key learnings I've discovered are that more often than not, service providers don't want to do the work of digitalizing their portfolio and instead try to bring their current state into Cloudmore. This does not work. So simplifying your service catalog to what you are selling is an important step. The other important piece of work to be done is structuring your subscriptions so that you begin with the end in mind. If you want to encourage no-touch sales, if you want to streamline the sales process, then the journey to recurring revenue is the ideal time to address this. I'll give you an example, an extreme example, but I assure you it is a real example. A customer recently wanted to create some subscriptions for the Veeam solution, and they came to me with the vendor price list. This price list had over 1,000 different SKUs on it, and they were adamant that this is what they wanted to load into Cloudmore. I challenged them, and I got them to investigate, firstly, what SKUs they had sold in the last 3 years, and got them to talk with their sales team about what SKUs they felt they needed to offer the clients. The list of over 1,000 SKUs was reduced to just 19 SKUs. Once we had reduced the number of SKUs, we needed to get rid of the customer unfriendly names and descriptions. We worked hard to remove the unnecessary jargon and say exactly what the subscription does and who or what it was for. The description is going to be seen in multiple contexts, from price lists, on quotations, on selection screens, and on bills by both your internal sales team and customers. So it's super important to get these right. The final step was to get the customer to think about the options, including their added value, and how these should be presented to the customer. Then split them into chargeable and non-chargeable. We applied the rules of structure and simplicity. I'll show you how Cloudmore deals with chargeable and non-chargeable options when I demonstrate the platform. So, best practice for billing. Billing follows a similar theme to keeping it simple and structured. Complex pricing models do not work for customers. You may think that this enables you to demonstrate best value, but to a customer, it's more important that they can quickly work out the cost of ownership. Ideally, having a structure that is price per quantity and price per option. Keep the discounts to subscription length, the longer they sign up for, and payment frequency, so you reward for upfront payments over monthly payments. In the subscription sales process, your sales team should have less room to negotiate customer pricing. If you have structured your pricing correctly, then this will be more easily accepted by sales. This standardized pricing then flows through to renewals. It is far easier to automate renewals if you have not deviated from standard pricing. Previous discounts don't need to be checked against margin, reauthorized, and it stops the customer from thinking that they can negotiate every time. So, automation and how you join the dots together. Cloudmore has a powerful service connecting capability that enables you to deliver complete end-to-end automation. Over the last 10 years, we've used this technology to integrate our platform with numerous vendor solutions, including Microsoft, IBM, and HP. However, integrating with service APIs using the connector is only worthwhile if you have the volume, and this has been an historical challenge with subscription management platforms. But how can you automate without APIs? Within Cloudmore, we have created a notification system that allows you to soft on-ramp products. Each adds, moves, and change generates a notification that can be linked with ticketing systems, and then the changes can be manually carried out. This allows you to very quickly build your product portfolio in our platform without the overhead of an API integration. So, customer self-service. Customers continue to become more demanding, and things would be so much simpler if it wasn't for the customers. Customers want everything now, not tomorrow. They expect you to attend to them at their every need without delay. And the longer it takes to respond, the more likely it is that customers will be dissatisfied. But as well as speed as response, customers want consistency. So how can you respond faster to keep your customer happy? The key is customer self-service. Self-service is no longer a nice to have, It's a necessity in providing a positive customer experience. In fact, it's become so important that 70% of customers now expect a company's website to include self-service, and 40% of consumers now prefer self-service over human contact. But what are the key components to delivering successful customer self-service? Self-service is not an e-commerce shopping basket. It needs to deliver more long-term value than only allowing customers to buy new services. To deliver a full self-service experience, customers need to be able to manage their existing subscriptions so they can see what they have, what's being consumed, and make the required ads, moves, and changes. This should not be a subset of your service portfolio. This should be for all subscription style services that you offer them. It quickly becomes frustrating to customers if they can change the O365 license, but not their security or collaboration tools. This alone can be the key to winning or retaining business. A customer recently approached me to help with a presentation to a new large prospect. They were competing with an MSP who was offering a 15-minute SLA on making ads, moves, and changes. They presented the Cloudmore business and won based on the customer being able to do this instantly. I know this may be controversial to those that offer a managed service and believe it's duty for them to do everything on behalf of their customers in response to tickets being raised, but this is not what all customers want nowadays. Utilization. One of the key advantages of subscription-based services is that they should be charged on a per quantity basis. Providing your customers with an easy way to check how many have been purchased and how many are not being used is very powerful in a self-service model. Gone are the days where shelfware, where customers will accept software is purchased but then not used. This information can help you understand where value-added services can be provided, such as training and consultancy, and these can be offered to help increase utilization of their subscriptions. The other part that customers want in a self-service portal is the ability to see cost and billing breakdowns. Customers want costs to be transparent to them. It is very difficult to provide this if the only information you give them is on quotations or on your invoices. This is even harder if you provide usage-based services where consumption can change daily. Give your customers an easy way to analyze their costs and allocate against different budgets. And if you don't, they'll think you have something to hide. I'm going to move on to the demonstration now. There. Right, I'm going to do a brief overview of Cloudmore and how you can set up custom services and deliver self-services to your customers. I'm already logged into the platform, and in fact, I'm logged into the platform on two browsers. The first browser that you see here, I'm logged in as a reseller, and on the browser underneath that I'll come to in a moment, I'm logged in as an end customer. So I'm going to begin the demonstration with showing you how you set up custom services, and then I'll end the demonstration showing you the end customer experience of how they can discover new services and add new subscriptions. So I'm logged into Cloudmore, and at the top here you can see I'm in the Cloudmore training reseller account, and I've already navigated into the custom services area. For the existing users that are on the call, this is under the reseller menu and under custom services. And here you can see that I've already created a number of custom services. The service that we're going to look at is the backup, archival, and file share service, which you can see here is a user-based service. Using the action icons next to it, I can very simply navigate to different parts of the system. So here, I can control the marketing information that appears in our customers' e-store. I've uploaded a simple image in this, but you can see full format capabilities to determine how you want to present information to your customers. You can also control the target audience for any service. We can position this service at either all of our customers, or we can restrict this service so it's only available to a subset of our customers or even just individual customers. And the tabs across here allow you to add and manage additional features. Links to resources. So here I've linked a fact sheet, I've linked an overview video, and I'll show you how this information displays to the customer when I jump into the customer self-service experience. I'm just going to jump back to my services view, and I'm going to look at the products or subscriptions that I've set up for this specific service. So using this action icon here, you can see here that I've created 3 simple options. I've created a backup only option, a backup and archival option, and a backup, archival, and file share option. The summary screen here shows us the overview details, so we can see all of these are on a 12-month subscription period, and my billing interval is monthly. I'm going to deep dive into one of these products to show you how it was created and the different options you have. So here you can see the simple product names that I've used, where we also have the ability for you to add a longer description for each product. All of this is controllable by yourselves and can be updated at any time. The platform supports different subscription periods, so it could be a monthly subscription period, it could be annual, or it could be biannual, and the platform also supports different payment frequencies. So the customer could be paying for this subscription on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis, on a half-yearly basis, on an annual basis, and so on. The platform is going to do all of the billing calculations based around the rules that you set here. We also have the ability for you to set up rules around renewals and cancellations. So at the end of the subscription period, there's going to be an action. Is the subscription going to automatically renew unless the customer proactively cancels it? Or is it going to automatically cancel at the end of the subscription period unless the customer renews it? There's also there the ability to change product at the end of subscription period if one product is no longer valid. It's similar rules when a subscription is cancelled. So if it's cancelled during the term of the subscription, we can have different rules set to say what happens. Does it cancel immediately? Does it carry on in service until the end of the subscription period? We have the ability to set up notifications. So as the subscription comes to an end, we can set up different notifications to go out. So we can have an automatic email notification go out to your customer, and you can determine the frequency that these emails are sent. So from 90 days down to 1 day, 0 days. You can set up different templates. So a different email can be used for each type of subscription. And you can also set up notifications if the subscription becomes expired. You can again have automatic notifications go out to your customer with different templates. I'm going to talk about price management when we look at the price list in a second. And here you can see the provisioning management, where this one is set up on a notification provisioning, and I've used my email address. It would be here that the API connector would come in if I'd activated that. And finally, for this product, I have created a number of different custom properties. These are normally where our customers would build their non-chargeable options for the service. So in this case, and for this subscription, I have added a drop-down list that is asking the retention time the customer wants for the backup service, a drop-down list for the data center location that they want to use, and I've also added a drop-down list for the archive period of 12, 24 or 36 months. The custom services, the custom fields is very, very flexible. You can build as many of these that you want. They can be drop-down lists, they can be text fields, they can be checkboxes. You can also determine whether you want these fields visible on the screen or invisible. Invisible fields are normally used as part of the notifications for internal messaging. So I've set up some different options. The platform, I should point out, does also have the ability for you to clone an option. So once you've set up the basic structure of an option, you can clone it and edit it, which makes the setting up very, very quick. As well as the ability to create the key products, we can also create add-ons. So in this case, for this product, we have an add-on option available, which has a similar structure to the core product, where we've got an unlimited storage option and we've got a cost and a sales price. So from a price list perspective, if I go back into my product list, we've created some products and we've set some pricing. Ongoing pricing management can then be carried out in the price list functionality. So for this service, we've now created automatically a price list. You will see here there is the ability as well to create price lists in different currencies. So if you sell services in different geographic regions, the platform will support different currencies. So we can have a price list for GBP, Euro, and USD, etc. Right, I'm going to jump in now to the customer self-service. So in this browser, I've already logged in as a customer into their private portal, and I'm in the customer's e-store. And in the e-store, we can see the backup as the service icon, or sorry, the backup service that I created earlier. If I click on this service, you can now start to see how the marketing information I showed you is displayed. I'm going to add this service to this customer. I'm going to verify that I want to add it. And now I'm going to add a subscription. So I'm going to go to the subscription page. There's no existing subscriptions to be managed, and I'm going to add a new subscription. Here we can see the subscription options that I showed you earlier. So if I add a subscription for, let's say, for the sales team, here we can see the subscription options that we set up. So if I select the backup only option to begin with, the platform will dynamically display the pricing for that option. If I flick between options, you will see the pricing will automatically change. I can select the quantity that we want to add. I can add a purchase order if required. And then the add-on that I showed you, I can add the add-on. And again, the platform will automatically calculate out the costs for including the add-on. Scrolling down to the details, here we can see the custom fields that I created. So I can set and select whatever settings, and we can then hit create subscription. Because this was set up on a notification basis, this will now automatically send out the email notifications to the email address that was set. Here, we can see the quantity of licenses that have been purchased, and we can see that no licenses or no subscriptions have yet been allocated out to specific users. To allocate licenses out to users, you can click on the user tab. It will automatically find the users that are available in the directory, and I can assign that license out then to the individual users. Again, the notifications process will kick in at this stage, and the notifications will be going out. The customer then at any time can add additional subscriptions. So if they now want to add the backup and archival solution for the marketing team, this process can again be carried out. Again, different options now available, which is dynamically displaying. Again, 1 license purchased, 0 licenses assigned, and I can go into the users and I can assign that license out to the specific users. As more subscription services are added in the platform and managed via the platform, under the users for this specific organization, the customer will be able to get an overview of all of their users and exactly what services each user is using. So for this customer, for this user, we can see the 1 service and we can see the single service that we've just assigned them. This becomes very powerful as users start using multiple services. The customer also has the ability to access billing reports and billing breakdown reports. So if I go into the billing menu and the billing reports, and we'll do current status of the service. Here we can see on the billing report a breakdown of the products that have been added and the quantities that were purchased and the total costs that have been incurred. I'm not going to go any further in the demonstration now, but I'd be happy to take some questions.
So David, thank you very much for that short demonstration. Obviously, it's not possible to go too deep and wide in the short space of time we had available. Just to sort of summarize from what you've learned in terms of taking customers through this process, can you just talk about a little bit about the little Excel tool that we give to our customers to help them pull this together?
Yeah, certainly. So I suppose the first thing that people need to do is before they start loading services onto the platform is to work out the structure of those services. I've worked with a number of customers that have tried to go straight into adding things into the platform. And what we found easier is to actually document out the services and the service options and the pricing model before they get entered. And we've actually created a number of sort of templates to help customers now do this. I think the second side of it would be to understand either whether you're going through a notification-based system or whether you're going for the full API integration. And the key part of that, I think, is the volume that you're going to be transacting through the platform. And we actually find that most customers can get away with the notification system as the first step and then move to the APIs as the second step. And then the final part of it is to really understand the billing rules and how it's going to help you generate your monthly bills in the background and how that will work and integrate with your billing platforms that the customers are using.
Thanks, David. Yeah, so we had a couple of questions come through in the chat. Is there any best types of services that are best suited to subscriptions? And can you build bundles in Cloudmore as well?
I'll start with the bundle question. Then yes, you can build bundles in Cloudmore using a combination of the add-ons and the wrappers. So not a problem including bundles in the platform. So the first part of that question, Mark?
What type of services are best suited to creating subscriptions?
The better services are the services that can be created with a price per quantity. Within the standard Cloudmore platform, it's easier to build that type of service than it is with services that are more utilization focused. So, for example, where there's a backup service and you sell it per terabyte rather than per gig and you look on a consumption model for it.
Great. We've had a question about the CSP billing and specifically the complexity around that, where customers have removed licenses. And this is related to pro-ratering that Microsoft do in their, unfortunately, we're a hostage to fortune on that. And we have to kind of work with the Microsoft billing report. I think what we've tried to do in our views is make it simpler than it is in the Microsoft report, but we are obviously having to work with Microsoft data there. What we've done around the pro ratering is create a little info button on the report, which pops up and gives you the breakdown of how a particular billing profile for the period has been achieved. But there's not going to be too much more we can do with that. I mean, we've always said to our service provider, CSP service provider customers specifically, we recommend that they send a summary bill to their customers and then allow their customers to come into Cloudmore, and then you're able to interrogate the bill and drill down into what's being used in detail themselves. But I agree that Microsoft haven't made it as easy as possible, as easy as they could do to manage their billing.
Yeah, if I can just add there, Mark. I mean, Microsoft have made it, the whole billing calculation that they do is quite complicated. And often the challenge is once the customer actually understands how the billing model works with forward payments and credits on adjustments, the Cloudmore bill generally then makes more sense for them. So I think the first part of solving that is to just get the customer to understand what the billing model is. Because once that clicks with them, actually the lines that we've got on the Cloudmore breakdown become pretty clear and self-explanatory.
Thanks, David. I've had a couple of other questions. There is a possibility when you set up a service within Cloudmore to be able to have a free period, and that enables the client to use the service for a period of time. There's also a question of, is there a free trial for the first 30 days? It's free of any fees and free of obligation. So yes, absolutely. There is a question from Stefan regarding branding and white labeling. You've seen, I think, in the demonstration, some of the small branding that can be done in the platform, so you can change the colors, you can put your own logo in. Also, you have the ability to create your own login page with an image and your logos and links to your own website, so you can create a fully white labeled experience. David, I just got one other here. What about physical products? And can you put those in as well, so you can kind of create a whole portfolio of products and services?
Yeah, absolutely. And I missed that out when I was showing the setup of service. But yeah, we do also support what we call one-off products, which are normally the physical products. So some use cases that I've had are where a service provider provides perhaps a set of laptops, and they want an easy way for their customer to be able to select a specific laptop that they need for a new member of staff. And yep, that can be loaded into the platform, and that will be added onto the billing report on a one-off basis.
Great, thanks, David. So we did have a question about pricing as well. We prefer to talk about pricing individually because everybody has a different set of requirements from whether you're using the Microsoft CSP integration, whether you're going to be using the upcoming Amazon AWS integration, or whether you're going to be using it to offer these subscriptions and manage those subscriptions for your customers. If you're interested in knowing more about pricing, then please reach out to us and we can talk about your requirements, give you a written proposal so you understand exactly what the platform might cost. Okay, so we are at time now, a busy day for the rest of the day ahead of them. So with that, I'd like to thank you very much for attending. Webinar has been recorded, and we will send the link out to you. And of course, feel free to contact us at any time with further information about what you've seen today. Thanks very much and have a great day.